yes, they are able to make the plays early, but it's not flawless. A lot of this is coming from the early aggression of Beishang and setting up the rest of the team, and they've been capable of snowballing it through off of these plays. However, when you're looking towards what has come out from Rogue Warriors, it's a lot more difficult to find successes in a lot of these situations. The Lantern in the bottom lane to help avoid some of these ganks. You have the LeBlanc in the mid lane as well, which is great at avoiding some of this pressure. So realistically, the only person you can go for is Crazy in that top lane. But Crazy's got that Shadow Realm. We've seen how difficult it can be to coordinate ganks towards a Mordekaiser post level 6.
Well, what about pre-level 6? Because Missing wants a hook right here. Lei could be fishing as well. But I think both sides going to be deciding it's not worth it right now. Obviously, there was a ward that came down from the side of Rogue Warriors, so Missing did get spotted out. I thought we were going to have a brawl. Everyone looked like they were posturing for it.
This isn't solo queue. People will spread out correctly, watch their flanks, and make sure that Missing on the Blitzcrank can't get in. Though, as I say, that late invade potentially on the cards, but good ward coverage means they'll spot it out. So WE will back away. And actually, with this start from Beishang going towards the top side of the map, Missing and Jomung can have two options. One, push the wave really quickly, or two, they can hide in the bush, but they're not quite going to be able to make it to there, where they might have tried to snipe out Zhang Wuji or Lei as they moved in.
Yeah, that lack of vision obviously giving a lot of potential ways around to play here. Also bear in mind, Wei Yan does have the sweeper in his inventory, so can go for some vision clear, can also go for some sneakier plays. Could do with using that sweeper right now, because there is a ward on his blue buff already.
I think Wei Yan is happy to give over this information. You assume with WE moving in, they place some wards down to spot out where Wei Yan would be moving. So again, Beishang operating with full knowledge in this early game with Teacher Ma.
Oh, forces the flash. Nice chains out of Ruby. He sets his jungler up to come on in, and Teacher Ma has to respect it.
And as long as Rogue Warriors can keep this pressure up, it stops Teacher Ma from having control of this lane, especially before he hits level 6. You want to try and win this lane heavily for Ruby so he can contest Teacher Ma and all these roams we talked about already.
I'm excited to see what Missing has to offer us in this game. I get excited every time a Blitzcrank gets locked in, and the longer this split goes on, the more meta Blitzcrank seems to become. He could have his opportunity to shine here. Beishang moving on in towards the bottom side of the map. There is no ward. Lei dodges the hook, though. Nicely sidestepped.
This isn't Cold's Blitzcrank. It's Missing and not quite able to land the hook. Wills, though? Beishang, fine will.
Here we go. Repeat of game number 2 here. The duel between the junglers. Beishang, once again, the guy that gets the advantage. This time, it's not 2 kills, though.
And you can see how these trade patterns go.
Oh, can't dodge that one, Lei. Gets pulled on in. The Aftershock procced. Keeps him tanky. The Ignite ticking away. Double up. Doesn't need to come through because Jiaomeng flashes for the auto. Wuji cannot trade it, but could be in trouble because Beishang is hanging around. Maybe wants to go for a dive. Wuji, I wouldn't move away from the tower if I was you. The slow is going to be there. He's going to be trying to get the dodge, but the Sonic Wave is onto him. Force the flash.
All summoners burnt on this bottom side of the map with a great hook from Missing. I was about to say, when you look at how trade patterns go for Lee Sin into Jarvan, the biggest problem that Jarvan has is you've got to take all this trade damage before using your flag and drag away, because the Sonic Wave can follow you and Beishang can finish the deal. Wei Yan forced out of the bottom side jungle, which means Beishang is free to go down, help protect Missing and Jiaomeng on that play, and set themselves up for kill number 1.
Fantastic stuff. And most importantly, getting that early kill onto the Misfortune. So great for the side of WE. Really, really important first gold lead for them. And Misfortune as well, if you want to start with the Essence Reaver, you can use just about every piece of gold that you get because you can start with the long swords.
You can go for all these Dorans that we've seen as well if you just want to full-on commit to this laning phase. Wave pushing in here, though. They're trying to make a play with Wei Yan on the side.
Morgan does not care about your matchups. He does not care who's the aggressive top laner. He will find a 1v1.
I love that Morgan is finding success in WE. Because when we look at the team that he had on Joy Dream way back when, it was CLX and Xiao Han, who are both on that team, who've gone to V5. They haven't found the success that Morgan has had. We're now joining WE, and especially with them fluctuating between the playstyles that they want to, Morgan has found such a strong home on this roster.
His home could be in jeopardy here. Nope, Blast Cone. Missing going to be fine on that one. That's the power of the overdrive. Obviously, it got changed a little while ago, so you get a more significant burst of movement speed and then a slow afterwards. But in that situation, it's the perfect ability.
Ruby, looking to still try and punish this mid lane Galio. Hasn't been able to yet. No repeat gank from Weian because he was forced out of his jungle by Beishang. And now, level 6 will be hit by Teacher Ma pretty soon. I'm trying to see if he'll use the teleport to get back to lane here. Will do that. So this is where they're saying, okay, we want to have Teacher Ma shove in as quickly as possible, hit that level 6, and try and contest for the dragon if we can.
Well, yeah, I'm going to be able to get this one, though, by the looks of things. And that's one of the strengths of having the Kalista in your roster as well. The Rend does mean that you are much more safe and secure on these kinds of objectives. But with everyone moving back to lane, I mentioned how Jiameng would be able to spend every penny. I didn't realize quite how many pennies he had. A BF sword and a longsword coming on through. He's feeling incredibly strong.
Missing also picking up the Moby boots, so can look for roams, but not going to be able to get a chance before Weian looks for the gank.
Yeah, but look at the damage onto Wuji already. Here we go, they're going for it. Flash gets the knock up onto Missing, but he flashes himself, and now Lei will be the target. Double up onto both. Jiameng has so much damage. They can 2v3 this right now. Death sentence onto a minion. Missing will be on cooldown with his hook. Weian just bullied out of the situation. In the meantime, gank in the mid lane. Beishang forced away. They might try and force a tower here, maybe a dive.
Tower plates is the name of the game. They won't be able to take the entire turret, but with Teacher Ma and Beishang playing down towards bot side, that lean is enough for Weian and Zhang Wuji with Lei to force back from the turret. They're still here though.
Missing. Very low on HP, it has to be said, so it does need to be a little cautious. Beishang knows that they can't dive while the support is that low.
Heal just procced as well for Zhang Wuji, so this could be a potential turnaround if Missing and Jiameng don't realize that.
Yeah, we'll have the summoner available, but oh, the lantern and a minion. Missing gets absolutely denied there. Wuji wants to go for it with the Rend, but there's no way to catch up.
Also failed on resetting the Rend in that situation, so no follow-up there to try and chase down Missing. Either way, WE do a great job of thwarting the early game aggression from Rogue Warriors. Beishang keeping Weian under control, and now even when he goes for a gank in the bottom lane, just Jiameng and Missing keeping Rogue Warriors pushed down.
Really nice stuff coming out. And I love watching an aggressive Blitzcrank. I love the position, and I love it when they're trying to make these plays and, you know, pretending to recall, going for the brush cheese. It's so exciting to watch.
So this is great for WE because we already said they need to come out of the gates swinging. Jiameng needs to be the main source of damage. He's head and shoulders above Zhang Wuji when it comes to that aspect right now. And that's why WE are looking to move everyone up to these objectives. If they can incorporate Jiameng into the likes of Rift Herald fights, into Dragon fights, that's how they can start to get this snowball going and get a lot of gold onto the Misfortune.
Beishang going to be able to grab himself the first Rift Herald of the game. And obviously Rogue Warriors, they were the ones to start things off when it came to objectives. They were the ones to grab that first Drake a couple of minutes ago. The second one will be coming up in 2 minutes' time. And the question will be, with this gold lead that WE have found for themselves, or at least an item lead, can they then force this next Drake?
They will be definitely looking to do so. Beishang right now is pathing with that in mind. Going towards his red buff, he's going to be able to clear down towards the bottom side, look for a play as Weian has to go and fight for his own blue buff. So this will give WE numbers advantage on the bottom side. They can use the Rift Herald, force the turret, and then look directly towards the dragon after that.
I don't know if you guys saw it on your screen a moment ago, but Missing with his Moby boots already is so damn fast on this Blitzcrank. Even without going for the overdrive, he can just charge around that lane. It's so scary as an AD carry when they just run at you like that. And you've got to try and dodge the hook, but they don't even always have to throw it out.
Well, Everyone is looking towards this dragon. Teacher Ma moving into position to have that ultimate available if needs be. Ruby?
Yeah, shielded Durand, not going to find the taunt there. Bear in mind, dragon not up for another 60 seconds. A pick right now doesn't necessarily get you the dragon.
Well, if you manage to pick now, it'll just about get back in time. I think it's more about the summoner spells that will be used. But here's this play that we were just talking about. Beishang has made his way down towards the bottom side after picking up a bunch of extra camps, has hit level 6, so now can move in here with WE, toss down the Rift Herald, and look towards the dragon. Rogue Warriors look like they're abandoning all hope in this bottom side because they know that's the play WE are moving towards, and instead look to give up the objective. And then, well, as I say that actually, looks like Rogue Warriors are maybe looking to get a tempo advantage. So backing to pick up the Vamp Scepter for Zhang Wuji. So they're giving up turret, but still want to take the fight at Dragon with a faster back timing and more items in theory in their back pocket.
We'll have to see though, this Herald will have to be answered for by Wuji, and the Dragon's going to spawn in 5 seconds. So we need to see a quick rotation if any kind of answer can come out from Rogue Warriors. Wei Yan making his way down through the mid lane. Ruby, though, could be in trouble. Missing is here. The minion wave is going to ruin everything. Oh, Wei Yan, you are lucky to get out of that one right there. Pulled during the flag and drag, but it still goes on through. Dragon has been started. Damage onto Missing from the side of Ruby. Wei Yan maybe can find a steal. They're going to pull the Dragon as far away as possible. In he goes. Wei Yan wants the smite. Beishang's not going to let it happen. Great Dragon's Rage. And WE, a vice-like grip on this early game.
Early TP from Morgan, though, means that Crazy can answer for some turrets on the top side of the map. Not going to be the end of the world when all's said and done, but definitely WE prioritizing heavily this Infernal Drake, and rightfully so. Every ounce of damage they can get out of their composition is going to be needed if they want to take down Rogue Warriors.
Teacher Ma going to be moving up towards the top side there on the Galio. Does have his hero's entrance, so should a fight kick off around the Rift Herald that's coming up relatively shortly, he will be able to join in that fray. Here we go, Hook though coming out from late onto the likes of Missing. Returns the favor but can't connect.
Look at where Rogue Warriors are positioned at the moment though. Ruby is fighting off against Morgan in the bot lane. Not the ideal situation. They've actually used the teleport to get Crazy up to the top side. So with this Rift Herald, as you said, coming up in a few moments, having Crazy to start things off, maybe they can get onto Jomon. Maybe they can try and pull this MF into the Death Realm, but really you want Ruby positioned there already to actually just remove the Misfortune. It's far easier for a LeBlanc to flank than it is for a Mordekaiser to flank.
The flanks will be the name of the game as we move into kind of the team fight skirmish phase of the game here. And this is the thing about the current meta. Lane phase ends so early now.
And that's because you've got this early Rift Herald. It's very easy to start cracking open these turret plates, and even with the changes that Riot now made again on 10.5 to melee champions doing more damage to turrets, it's so handy for the likes of these top laners to set up for that Rift Herald play if they have an advantage. So when we're looking at the 13-minute mark and everyone's already out of lane before turret plates have fallen, this is an accelerated pace, and why we're seeing a mid-game spiking composition come through from WE. Try and grab this early snowball and run away with the game before anything comes in from Rogue Warrior's side.
Tower plates are now down as well. Important for the side of WE because they're already the ones that were getting the most damage down onto these towers, the most pressure across the map. And with the plates out of existence, they'll be able to burn through those objectives very quickly.
It's interesting to see this composition coming in from WE. We saw it coming through from Suning with Huan Feng on, I think, the Aphelios for that game, and they still didn't have enough damage to try and make this comp work. And when you've got the Misfortune, you're only making it more pain for yourself. Especially since the Dragon Roulette has not gone in favor of WE. It's the Mountain Dragon, which means they don't have the Ocean Soul, which they would have loved to just bolster that team fighting a little bit more.
Oh, Hook onto Lei. That's what we like to see. Fate's Call keeps him safe, though. Wuji doing his work there on the Kalista. And we mentioned it before. This is one of the most annoying lanes to have to try and deal with. The Fate's Call keeping Thresh safe, the Lantern keeping Kalista safe. Taunt onto Ruby though. Good amount of damage going to be going on through. Missing has been pulled into the death realm by Crazy. Can the rest of the team do anything while this is going on though? Because no kill will come through onto the support. Crazy has to flash over onto the red buff. Morgan now the one that's going to be caught. That's going to be a chain coming out from him. Hero's entrance as well. Missing gets a kill in this fight somehow. Cataclysm gets on in. Taunt lands though, and he can't go anywhere. Xiaomeng with another one. And WE cannot be stopped.
Zhang Wuji got an invite to a party he didn't want to be a part of. The bounce house in full succession means that Rogue Warriors don't have the damage to finish off Morgan. WE will turn towards this Rift Herald and start this snowball in full flow.
This is unbelievable from the side of WE. Such great skirmishing coming out from them. And Crazy found himself way too far into the fight, flashed on out, and it meant the rest of his team, they were scattered trying to figure out where to go. Xiaomeng wants a 1v1 with Ruby right now.
That's not where you want to be when you're supposed to be assassinating the Misfortune, but this is the problem. If Crazy is using this, and you can see here just as a panic ultimate to get onto Missing, well then Xiaomeng, the damage dealer on this squad, is able to do what they like. Backs away, so then at all times, Crazy is in a position he has to remove himself from the fight. And then you can see here, once Zhang Wuji is forced out of this fight, there's no more left in the tank for Rogue Warriors, and WE, with the wraparound coming through from Xiaomeng, can finish off the kills.
Really nicely done from the side of WE. They're starting to get this snowball rolling for themselves. They've got a 1,000 gold lead. Ruby does sidestep. Skill shots galore there, coming out from Beishang and from Missing. But the Herald coming on through. Xiaomeng's going to be here to try and finish this tower off. They won't be able to finish the objective. So Wei Yan gets onto Missing as well. Aftershock will be able to keep him safe for now. Crazy. He wants the rematch. He's going to find this Blitzcrank if it's the death of him. And I don't think it will be for now. Bullet time, but Crazy pretty much invincible at this point. Nice kick comes out from Beishang, keeps himself alive as well. Now onto the likes of Wei Yan as well, sorry. Xiaomeng does have the damage to finish that kill off. Morgan going to get the credit.
The
nice taunt comes through, and it's a double kill now. Ruby can't escape, and suddenly what looked to be even goes all the way in favor of WE.
4 kills on this Misfortune now as well. Xiaomeng is in the perfect spot to take over this game. Mid lane tier 1, mid lane tier 2, and a happy-go-lucky AD carry for WE.
So great feeling that on the Misfortune to be 4-0-2 at this point in the game, just to be sweeping up through all of these fights.
Munch, I remember the game where you got as fed as Xiaomeng is on Misfortune, and you were giggling to yourself the whole time about how much fun it was to punish people in this game. WE will get the opportunity once again to punish Rogue Warriors, to set themselves up with this early gold lead, and just as WE do, snowball perfectly.
Yeah, 3,000 gold lead for themselves. Now a Drake to boot. That's going to be 2 in their inventory now. 3 towers to 1 as well. And it started with Missing being the one caught out.
Blitzcrank is like a Teemo in this game. You see, you kill. Crazy is bloodlust for the robot. And when you've used all this onto the Blitzcrank, look at the setup from Xiaomeng. Takes Zhang Wuji down to below half health. A great kick from Beishang. And this fight is exactly how WE want these fights to go. They can use the ultimate coming through from Morgan to split open these fights, and it'll only become a lot worse when Teacher Ma has his up and available.
And a good little attempt there from Ruby at the end of the fight. Actually flashed forward to get a distortion, finishing Beishang off. So at least some signs of life coming out, especially from the side of Ruby. And Ruby, when we talk about Rogue Warriors, has been the focus this entire series. He's been the one stepping up. We saw his Cassiopeia. In fact, it was Ruby's Cassiopeia in game number 1.
Azir in game number 2.
Azir in game number 2 as well.
It wasn't quite as impressive as the Cassiopeia, but either way, Ruby does seem to be the one on this roster now looking to fight even when they do fall behind.
Even though he didn't make any big plays on the Azir in game number 2, it was him that the pressure was on for that game. He was the win condition for the squad. Starting to feel that way once again here in game number 3 on this LeBlanc. We need to see him get some picks.
Xiaomeng has an Infinity Edge and Essence Reaver already. This Misfortune
feels
is
good, man.
Huge. We already saw Ruby attempt to duel Jomung. It didn't work out so hot. This is not going to go any better when it comes to round 2. Ruby, you got your work cut out for you once again here. And as you said, win condition for the Azir. In a lot of situations, Ruby is the win condition here. Can they get Misfortune out of the fight?
Morgan's been found though. Bellow's Breath will stop him getting hooked, but it won't keep him alive for very long. And Crazy desperately wants some kill credit this game. Gonna bring him into the death realm just to finish things off. Now priority in the mid lane for them. It's gonna be a trade though. Top lane tier 1 for mid. Or is it? WE deciding they don't want to go for the top lane tower. And it's actually just gonna be Rogue Warriors finding something for themselves. Beishang now the target as Lei steps on forwards.
With how quickly Rogue Warriors can get through these turrets, it could have actually just been a tier 2 for a tier 1. This
is huge if they can catch Jomung. We've been talking about how fed he is, but he 1v1s Ruby. That you can't be seeing that from the side of Rogue Warriors. Nice little juke from Ruby to get back out of the fight. Wuji flashes away from Beishang. Wei Yan's in the back line against Jiaomeng, but he can 1v1 anyone on their team. You can't shut him down. There's nothing you can do about this Misfortune. Missing gets a bonus kill. Oh, it's all falling apart for Rogue Warriors. WE looking ridiculous.
A new challenger approaches and Jiaomeng says, bring it on. WE are unstoppable in this game. 21.5 minutes. It's a 3k gold lead, but that's about to extend with Baron hopefully going over to them.
Wuji and Lei off on the side. Crazy wants to get on. Missing is a monster. Lei does actually flash out to safety. Death Realm comes on through, but it's onto the wrong player right here. The smite will still be available. Everyone on WE actually very low though. It's going to be the teleport now coming on in as well. One has gone down from the side of WE. Hero's entrance to get out of the pit. Morgan the next target. Another kill comes through for Ruby. I didn't see who got the Baron.
It did go across the Teacher Ma of all people. So Zhang Wuji was auto-attacking the Baron the entire time, hoping he could steal it away with the Rend. But Teacher Ma just inches it out.
Speaking of him, he's going to get rooted. Ruby, though, gets knocked up himself. And Morgan, we've seen him get solo kills. He's going to find one onto Ruby there. The shield from Beishang at the last second.
Messy,
back and forth here.
Messy play from WE there. Weren't able to finish off the Baron as quickly as they would have liked. As we said, it's only 21.5 minutes in. So when this fight starts to go awry, Jiaomeng in the back of the pit is tanking up this Baron damage for quite a bit. And not enough damage is being prioritized onto the Baron. Beishang is forced out of the pit. And yes, WE get the objective, but not as cleanly or with as many deaths as they would have liked.
They did lose 2 there. It looked a lot messier than I think it ended up being when it comes to the scoreboard. Only 2 of them went down. It felt a lot scarier than that. I would have loved to see Crazy go for the ultimate onto Beishang there. Maybe they could have secured the Baron for themselves. Not that Beishang even got the smite in the end, but... And this is the thing, right? This entire series, it's been tooth and nail. That fight really represents how scrappy this series has been. We are seeing a bit of a repeat from game 1, missing with the Hex Flash. He'll find Wei Yan anyway. Why are you walking into that? The jungler goes down. I mean, what do you even say about that one, Dagda?
Missing finds the hook. I mean, I don't know what you expected.
Wei Yan is like a
have
hook
been
magnet.
there.
He walked straight on into it.
I agree. He should not have been there, and especially with the way Missing has been playing, you got to expect that that's going to hit. Wei Yan 0-4 on this Jarvan. The Olaf didn't come out the way you wanted. The fallback of the Jarvan didn't either.
Oh, gets it off of the distortion, no less. Beishang goes on in. They're not sure which Ruby is the real Ruby. He's going to be able to distort away with the Mimic there.
Now WE pushing in towards the mid lane. This wave, they're not trying to force into the tower. What they want to do instead is join with Morgan on the bottom side and see if they can open up this tier 2 instead.
I am loving the presence that we're seeing from Galio's in the league.
Yes.
We're seeing a resurgence. One of my favorite champions after
He's just
the rework.
so wholesome to play.
Yeah. Feels so good to play him. The voice lines are amazing. But most importantly, the presence you can have in a game, especially when games are as chaotic as they are in the LPL, when the fights are so frequent, the hero's entrance is such a valuable ability. But just the CC across the entire fight makes such a huge difference. Nice little smite there from Wei Yan.
WE here, though, taking the Galio was a big risk. If you did start to fall behind, if Wei Yan had been able to take over this early game, well, then you're in a position where we don't deal damage. Our Misfortune is still only working up towards her 2 completed items. Our Morgan is behind, so this early Molten Edge for Jomong would not have been there. And this could be a very different game. But on the roll of the dice, WE were confident in their own ability. Their ability to take over the early game and snowball into a position where they could take these team fights so handily.
And I think rightly so. After you look at game number 1 and 2, Hook goes wide from missing there. Good attempt, but won't be able to find it. But yeah, game number 1 and 2, WE were the ones ahead in the early game. Both times they were the ones that were starting things off. And we've seen Rogue Warriors, obviously they won game 1 in the end, but ultimately they went ahead for most of game 1. Wei Yan does slide away with the flag and drag. The siege now begins. There's a nice little hook. The silence as well onto Lei. Aftershock keeps him alive for now. Ruby wants to punish in some way or other, but just doesn't really have the ability to.
Teacher Ma in the mid lane, trying to shove in that wave, always threatening with that ultimate. Missing.
That's quite a lot of damage coming out from Ruby. Teacher Ma threatens though and stops the follow-up on the chains. Baron going to be up in another minute and a half. Look at the group. Oh, it doesn't quite get it.
The big problem that WE are having right now is that both teleports are down. In this composition, in a situation where you got Baron, you can look to spread out the map and then force Ruby and Crazy to answer against Morgan and Teacher Ma. With this situation, though, they can't really have Morgan and Teacher Ma off in side lanes. So it's Teacher Ma in the mid lane to still have the distance to cover with the ultimate, and Morgan forced to join in with the team. Makes it a lot easier for Rogue Warriors to set up a defense. And even with the turret, that is the easiest to crack open on blue side, that top lane tier 2, they're not able to get that.
It's interesting to me to see this... oh, hang on. Never mind. What's interesting is missing on this Blitzcrank because he's forcing Ruby not to use the distortion. Very nicely done. Gets the clone, unfortunately. But it'll be 25 gold, and we take those here.
25 gold for a hook any time of the week. Now, though, Baron is up. Dragon is up. Both objectives WE can use to accelerate the game even further. Looks like Baron with still a minute before that Dragon will start to move over and see if they can draw Rogue Warriors in with a hook for missing.
Yeah, Dragon not going to be up for a minute, so Baron will be the call for now. Wei Yan could get hooked here, missing, wants to find a pick for himself. And this is the thing, Blitzcrank. It's one of those oh! I don't know if you saw that. Ruby jumps forward with the distortion. Xiaomong wasn't even trying to harass him. Here we go, hook from Lei. It's going to be missing going down. Cataclysm denies the bullet time. Fate's Call pulling his team to safety here. This Wuji gets Lei back out. Hook from Morgan. Beishan gets to the backline. Hero's entrance knocks up onto 2. There's a Wei Yan to follow up. And Xiaomong is not part of this fight right now. The rest of his team still winning out anyway. Crazy is alone and Beishan finishes that kill off. The damage just isn't there from Rogue Warriors. They can't do anything. Double kill for T-Churma and now straight onto the mid lane.
That was the perfect fight for Rogue Warriors if it had happened 15 kills ago, where Crazy gets onto Xiaomong in the back line, but he can't finish off the Misfortune. Get the help coming through from Beishan, while the rest of Rogue Warriors are dilly-dallying with Teacher Ma and Morgan, the 2 tanky members on the squad.
Poor Lei. He's actually going to use the flash here, but will go down. In the meantime, that's going to be game WE, a convincing game number 3 here to finish off the series. Wei Yan doing what he can, for what he can is absolutely nothing. I couldn't think of a rhyme, but it's going to be the game. 2-1 in the end to Rogue Warriors, commanding win.
WE